Guys, so this is a new what if, and this is another Young Justice what if. Now, guys, basically, after this what if, I will be uploading two what ifs tomorrow, probably at about 6:13, the same time I'm making this what if, or probably something near the time of that, or pretty much anything after 3:15, since I'm back to school, and some of my upload periods are a little bit more reasonable, since I will be uploading 4 times, 5 times, or maybe 3 times a week, and uploading one stop motion a week. Now, the stop motion will probably just be, a small, quick stop motion, but by the time, a month goes by, I'm going to upload at least a 15-minute stop motion episode 1 to a new stop motion series I'm making. But basically, what I'm going to be doing here is this is going to be another Young Justice what if. What if Robin had one for all? What if Robin had, what was it? All for one. All for one. Yeah, all for one. For my hero, he could take abilities and pretty much use them as he wishes. Now, basically, I got like a long, paragraph type, pretty much comment or request video from a subscriber, or I assume he was a subscriber since he made such a long, comment. But basically, he gave me two ideas and a little bit of a, more of a, half of it was like, the how the what if would happen and what he wants it to go like in the beginning of it. So basically, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doing the second one he said, because the one for all one with the pretty much him having the same abilities as Deku and he can control 50%, pretty much Robin. Basically, I am gonna be making both of those, but I wanted to do the one for all one because I feel like Robin is very stealthy and also could use the ability of mimicking powers and taking them, more pretty much likely. Now, basically, Robin would have the ability to take powers permanently. I wish I was going to make him kind of like a rogue type of power. He can take powers for a short amount of time and use them as he wishes against somebody or knock out somebody and as he touches them like rogue, but that's not how one for all works. So basically, with shapeshifting powers or anything that changes appearance, like if he mimicked the abilities of the Scarab or something like that, basically he wouldn't get any extra appendages, but he also would grow a Scarab made out of his bone. Basically, he would grow extra bones, and they would appear in the same shape of the Blue Beetle Scarab on pretty much Robin's back. And it would hurt like somebody, stuck a whole entire, like, pretty much branded Robin on the back of his, spine with a hot iron, pretty much, well, stick, well, not iron stick, and also spit on it, then put alcohol on it, then kicked him in the back a few times. So basically, it would feel like pretty much torture itself if he mimicked somebody that had some sort of crazy, weird, basically transformation ability. Not really a transformation ability if you mimicked a item. So basically, he can mimic items, but when he mimic items' abilities, he can only mimic them for a few minutes. So when he takes abilities from organic beings or just beings in general, basically he can only take abilities from organic beings like Darkseid, a Kryptonian, anything that's organic. He can also mimic the abilities of a Green Lantern ring, but he won't. It won't be like a Green Lantern ring would appear on his ring. He'll just have the abilities of a Green Lantern ring for a few minutes, since the Green Lantern ring isn't really organic. It's a item with somewhat of a consciousness. At least I think so. So basically, Robin would have one for all. Now, basically, before I get any farther, the two what ifs I'm going to be uploading tomorrow, or maybe after this what if, since I'm going to try to make this what if a little bit short. And basically, I'm going to be uploading What If Spider-Man Was in Young Justice Part 3, because, like, everybody loves Spider-Man, and since Far From Home, what was it? No Way Home trailer just came out, and it's the best trailer ever. Basically, I'm going to be doing that What If next, and after the Spider-Man What If, I'm going to be uploading What If the Predators from the MCU, or a new What If I'm working on right now is what if Howard the Duck was a Avenger, or was in the MCU more, not just a side character or a background character, or had more screen time than just a couple seconds. So basically, let's stop talking about the what ifs I'm coming up with, let's get into the what if itself in this video that you guys clicked on. So yeah, let's get ready. So basically, this is what if Robin had one for all, or all for one. Now, basically, Robin would have all for one, like all for one. Basically, he would have the same abilities and the same power set as him, but just with the powers of the DC Universe. Now, basically, Robin would have this ability and it would be natural to him. Basically, the last what if, pretty much request I got with this, pretty much video, basically was what if Deku had one for all. Now, basically, one for all, he was born with it, but he didn't activate it. So I'm going to do the same thing for this, because he just said it can natural to him. But I don't want Robin to be a, pretty much a crime fighter that can take abilities, but is like underneath Batman. So basically, Robin's going to have the ability of all for one, and Robin is actually going to be the first quirk person. Now, basically, quirks are going to be different from metagene. Now, the metagene has two different variants in this world. Basically, the quirks are slightly weaker. Sometimes quirks are slightly weaker or the useless compared to other metagenes, because metagenes or metahumans, all their abilities are either super dangerous or incredibly powerful, or just straight up just normal, compared to coming to the conclusion that you live in a world where aliens, gods, and all sorts of other stuff live. Living in Metropolis is probably the worst day ever. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that Deku would be the first person or the first human that would have the gene pretty much similar to the metagene. Now, the quirk gene would be similar to the metagene, but wouldn't be activated by torture. It would be activated randomly. But basically, it takes years, but seconds. Pretty much, it's a 1 in a million chance for somebody to actually get their quirk before they pass away or they they die. Basically, quirks, their gene, it has to be accelerated, and basically, well, it has to take time over time over time. Unless you're immortal, you won't be able to activate your quirk in this DC world. Now, basically, quirks are actually, all humans have quirks. You just gotta live long as heck. Basically, unless you live forever, and not like Vandal Savage. Because Vandal Savage, in this world, quirks would be a new thing, since Robin would be the first human for his quirk to manifest into an actual gene. So he would be the first quirk user ever, meaning that Robin would have to make kids for quirks to be, common in the world. So basically, it would take years and years before quirks started coming into the world, regularly. And basically, all of Robin's children would have a quirk and would activate by the time they would turn about, 13, 14, 15, something in the teenager years. So basically, Robin would be have a quirk all along, and his quirk would always be activated, but he would never be able to use it, because Robin wouldn't be, Robin would have known nothing about it. By the time his quirk would manifest and become strong enough to actually be able to be used, Robin started to see something different with him about a couple of weeks before the big day before he went to the Hall of Justice. Now, a day before he went to the Hall of Justice, he was in his room, and after pretty much a night of going out in the town with Batman, basically he would have been looking at some stuff, and he would have passed out in the middle of the night, and he would have woke up in Metropolis on top of pretty much the Daily Planet. He would be confused how he got there, but he would be able to get back down there by his grappling hook, because he would be in his Robin costume for some reason. So basically, he would get back to Gotham City, and Batman wouldn't notice. But Batman would notice, but he wouldn't say anything to, pretty much grace him. And basically, Robin would have gone back into his room and would have gone to school that day, but he would have been completely confused on how he ended up in Metropolis on top of the Daily Bugle, even though he checked his grappling hook and saw that his grappling hook or any of his items or suits or anything like that, or his pretty much rides weren't touched at all. Meaning that the only way he could get up there is if he had powers or if he could fly up there. But he shut that idea down immediately, because he knew that he knew that he couldn't fly, or he thought he couldn't fly. Now, basically, Robin would have gone back to basically Batman going on patrol and would have showed up in Gotham City, taking down Mr. Freeze just like in canon. And basically, Robin would have touched Mr. Freeze on the pretty much face after Mr. Freeze was taken out and his whole entire ice suit was smashed a little bit. Now, basically, Robin wouldn't feel anything because he would have his gloves on. Now, basically, Robin's gloves would soon become more of a kind of a pretty much, it's kind of like a thinner type of fabric, so his quirk would be able to be used more better without his gloves pretty much stuttering his powers, because Deku needs to make Robin needs to make skin on skin contact with somebody to mimic their ability. Now basically Robin would have been about in the area of Robin would be about, let's say, I don't know. Now, basically, we will get shown all of the events leading up to the Hall of Justice, or pretty much what was it, sidekicks going to the League of Villains. Going to the Hall of Justice. Now, basically, for this What If, I also will be including some My Hero villains, just be pretty much incorporating them having pretty much metagenes instead of quirks. So some of the My Hero villains like Dobby, or pretty much, Harikaki, or I don't know his name, the Shadow Quirk guy. Basically, their quirks would just be changed or pretty much swapped with enhanced or earlier metagene abilities. Now, basically, we get switched to the Hall of Justice after we get seen with Speedy, Kid Flash, and Aqualad taking down all ice-themed villains for some reason. And basically, they would have, gotten to the Hall of Justice. Now, basically, they would have been shown there, and we were getting hit with our pretty much fire intro. But basically, after that, we would get shown the team pretty much going into the Hall of Justice, and then being taken pictures of, and also other stuff. Now, basically, from then on there, basically, what was it? Basically, All For One, Robin would, be kind of confused, because Robin's pretty much, sight would have gone weird for some reason. He would have started seeing doubles, but he would have blinked a few times and it would have gone away. But he would be confused for some reason. But he would have shrugged it off and wouldn't really go anything more in it. Now, at this point, basically, Robin would have walked in there with the rest of the team in the Hall of Justice, and basically they would have, been told to sit down and relax or whatever to the rest of the team. And basically, Robin, I just did a quick check because I thought Robin was 9, but Robin was about 13 doing this. Now, basically, Robin would have been just chilling, and basically everybody else would have, just been chilling. Now, at this point, Speedy would have been kind of confused and angry at this point, watching the League talk out of the, Iceland villains they all fought, saying that's kind of suspicious. But he would have gone into basically the area. Before they did that, Speedy would have actually confronted them about the Watchtower and about how you're not telling us the truth, and now you're not, trusting us enough, and all the other stuff. Now, basically, eventually they would have, they would have left after that, and Speedy would have actually quit. Now, basically, Speedy would have still quit, and he would have still walked away, and Robin wouldn't really say anything else from there. Now, basically, Superman would have talked to them on the computer and all other stuff, but basically they would have left, and they would have been... Kid Flash or Wally would have said we should have gone with Speedy. They weren't telling us the full truth. They've been lying to us, and blah, 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 and other stuff. Now, basically, Aqualad was confused as well, saying why they would not leave. Now, basically, Robin was trying to, not pretty much see this, because if Robin left, where he would even go? Because Robin is an orphan, and also he is legally the son of Batman, or the son of Bruce Wayne, at least. So basically, now Robin would have gave in the same idea, and he would have hacked into the pretty much Hall of Justice computer, and would have gotten the locations of Cadmus, and they would have gone, to Cadmus. Now, basically, then on there, the three first, pretty much, members of the Young Justice would have started out their mission. Now, basically, they would have gone, they would have, pretty much, Aqualad would have marched, and they would have went to Cadmus. When they went to Cadmus, and they would have stopped the fire, and basically would have saved the two, pretty much, what was it? Pretty much would have saved the two scientists. Now, Kid Flash would have saved the two scientists, and basically, he would have almost fell himself, but Aqualad would have shown up, saving the day, controlling the water, manipulating it to take out the fire, and also to go up there. And Robin would have done his thing and snuck into the building, but when he was sneaking into the building, he found something very different with himself. He started feeling more stronger. His jumpings, his strength, his movements, they started feeling too easy to him. It felt like he was gliding through the air, at least. Now, basically, Robin would have left, and Robin and Wally would have gone into the room, and basically, Aqualad would have saved the two scientists and would have pretty much gone to Cadmus. They would have gone into Cadmus, and basically, they would have pretty much Robin would have started to hack into computers trying to find some Cadmus stuff. Aqualad would eventually see some sort of humanoid type of creature in the elevator. Now that's how they're gonna be, going down the elevator shaft. Now I would skip all the boring stuff in there, and basically by the time Robin goes down the pretty much elevator shaft, when his Goblin Hook stops, basically he gets to pretty much SL26, and basically he hacks into the elevator shaft and opens up the door. Now basically they go down there and they see a bunch of pretty much stuff, and basically Kid Flash runs off, and he eventually comes across some sort of alien type elephants or whatever. Now basically he runs out of the way as quick as possible, not trying to get stomped over, and basically, pretty much Robin sees this. Now basically all the way, we skip a little bit more through the episode since nothing from then that point on changes, other than pretty much Robin having some pretty much moments of his powers activating slowly all the way up until the climax of basically farther into the episode. Now all the way towards when Guardian attacks them, Guardian goes after Robin, but Robin grabs his fist and basically starts to mimic the ability or the pretty much power of his shield, basically having the same type of density as gold. Him basically taking some punches and dodges from the pretty much Geos and not feeling anything. Now basically he would have gotten out the way, and he would have started to hack into the computer or the elevator shaft. Pretty much Aqualad would have gone into there at the last minute, and they would have gotten out there to the elevator shaft quick and in a hurry. They would have gone down to floor 44, and basically Wally would have gone and told, pretty much Robin, why are we leaving? Now Robin would have also think to himself, ignoring some of the words that Aqualad was saying, basically would have been thinking about how did he not feel anything when the Geno scratched him or tried to bite him, and why did his skin now his skin didn't turn color, his skin just became a little bit more darker, kind of like a Hispanic type of skin, or like he just got a tan or something like that. So basically Robin, Aqualad, and Wally would have been trying to get near the area, trying to get more pretty much stuff from Cadmus. Now the alien creature that Aqualad saw before would have attacked them, and Robin would have thrown a shuriken towards the alien creature. The shuriken would have been stopped easily by the alien creature. The alien creature would have told the Guardian and the Genos to follow them, and they were that way. Now they would have gone, and basically they would have been able to get into the same door, or the same room where Superboy or Project's KR was. Now basically they would have gotten there as quick as possible, and Wally would have grabbed some sort of container trying to stop the thing from, closing. But basically Robin, Aqualad, and everybody else would have gone through, and Aqualad would have shut the door, kicking the pretty much tube that was pretty much holding the door open out, and basically would have closed the door. Now Robin and the rest of the team would have been looking around, and Wally would have been turning on the light, showing that, it was some sort of Project KR, and they would have been confused why a humanoid creature or being with some sort of Kryptonian symbol on the chest was just sitting there or just laying in the pod. Now, basically, they would have talked with you and they would have, come to the conclusion that this was some sort of Kryptonian clone or clone of Superman. Now, they would have came up with the conclusion to let it or release pretty much Superboy, and basically that's how Superboy would come out, just like in original. Superboy would have woken up and he would have been on straight up. He just woke up choosing violence. Now, basically, he would have started to gone straight for Aqualad, and I think, in my opinion, I think the Genos are kind of racist since they made Superboy go after Aqualad first, since he's the only black person in the team. So I don't know. The writers kind of shown a little bit of a racist type of attitude right there, but he could have basically, pretty much Robin and the rest of the team started to fight Superboy. Now basically they would have gone back and forth, and Superboy would have thrown pretty much Robin down to the ground and started to pretty much smush Robin. Now, at that point, Aqualad would have actually gone for a hit towards Superboy, but basically, Robin would have gotten up. Now, Robin would have seen this, and basically, he would have woken up, seeing Aqualad go toe-to-toe with Superboy trying to keep him down. Now, basically, Robin would have gotten up slowly, and he would have ran towards, Superboy, grabbing him and absorbing some of his abilities, absorbing laser vision and his super strength, and basically leaving Superboy with the rest of his Kryptonian abilities. Now, basically, they would have pushed off. Superboy would have tried to punch Robin, but it would just be a normal punch. And basically, Robin would have pretty much thrown Superboy across the room and started to laser him down, basically more and more. Now, basically, Robin was confused by this, and he couldn't turn on his laser vision. So Robin didn't want to do anything stupid, so he just kept on lasering down Superboy. Now, Superboy still was invulnerable or near invulnerability, and he was still trying to survive the laser blast. Eventually, he tried to get up more and more, but he saw no avail, and basically Robin started to turn up the heat, trying to straight up kill Superboy. At this point, Robin would have thought Superboy would take enough heat, but Robin would have been thought wrong. Now, Superboy was about to pass out, but when the Genos were actually in this canon were able to open the door, they shot Robin in the chest by pretty much a stun gun type of laser, knocking out Robin. Now, Robin would still have Superboy's super strength and laser vision, but the Genos wouldn't know that. So Superboy would have grabbed them, and Superboy would have had the average strength of a teenager, maybe in football, so he would be able to carry some of them. And basically, they would have gone, and basically Aqualad would have still been up, but he would have gotten taken down by Cadmus because he, was also shot down as well. Now that's how episode 1 would go down, and let's move on to episode 2 and 3, since I'm trying to make this long enough, not too short. So basically, we see a Geno basically watching pretty much the Doctor that will eventually become Project Blockbuster, basically talking to the light. Now I guess we're about the Superboy watching basically the 3 and watching pretty much Robin in particular, trying to figure out what Robin took from him. Now basically he felt very weaker than he was before, but Robin woke up. Now basically as pretty much the Doctor was talking to the light, basically Robin woke up and he started to move his chains. Now they would have thought Robin had no abilities, so they would have kind of just kept the chains standard, just normal still. Now basically Superboy would have been talked to the rest of the team, and basically the team would start to talk to Robin. Superboy more and more trying to convince him, but the Geno would have stopped Superboy from doing anything more than that. Now basically Robin would have smirked, saying, you messed up completely, bro, and pretty much broke out of his pod and started to beat the ever-living crud out of the scientists and the other scientists in the room, all two of them. Basically, he freed Wally and Aqualad before they were shocked enough, and basically, pretty much before that, Robin didn't get any of his blood taken away. And basically, pretty much the Geno in the room and everybody else would have tried to take down Robin. Now basically, Robin would have been cut, and basically the Geno would have had a little bit of Robin's DNA, because the Geno would have knew for pretty much for a fact that Robin had no abilities since he was Batman's protege. Now basically, Superboy would have heard of Robin and Aqualad because Robin would have been overpowered by one of the Genos, pretty much using him and pretty much picking him up telepathically and pretty much hurting him more and more. Basically, the rest of them would be released, and pretty much Superboy would help them out. Superboy would also be very angry towards Robin and basically would have told him or would have yelled at him saying, "Give me back what you took from me." Basically, Robin being confused, saying, "I didn't take anything from you." Basically, pretty much putting his hand on putting his hand on Superboy's shoulder, saying, "I didn't take anything from you, buddy," trying to not be too pretty much angry or anything like that, or not trying to be hostile towards Superboy. Now, basically, Superboy felt something come back to him because Robin didn't know he was using his powers, and Robin didn't know he was basically giving back Superboy's abilities. Now, basically, Robin's ability to give back powers is kind of easier than taking away powers. Well, it's the same amount of easy. Basically, Robin is able to give away powers as well to other beings, unless they aren't, compatible with with abilities. Like giving a baby the powers of a Kryptonian, it would basically make the baby look a little bit weird, or basically change the baby's mental state or something about it. And basically, unless basically they were running away, and pretty much a couple Genos were trying to stop them run. The Superboy would have actually ran, basically his strength coming back to him slowly. And they would have gone back up the elevator shaft the way they originally went to, and basically they would have gone up there. Now, pretty much Superboy would have jumped up trying to fly, and basically he would have get caught or saved by Robin. Now, Robin would have seen this, and basically Robin would have still been thinking to himself, having a little bit of a, Megan type of thinking, a scene, basically him saying that, what just happened. Now, Superboy would have still been, very distraught about how he can't fly, but basically Superboy was looking at Robin saying, you can change this. Basically, Robin was confused. Now, Superboy kept on telling Robin as they were running away, saying that you took my abilities, you took my strength and my lasers. Basically saying that you took two abilities from me. What can you give back to me? Now, basically, Robin saying, you don't have any fight, buddy. I didn't take any fight from you. Now, basically, Robin and them would have still. Now, basically, as Superboy was talking to Robin, he also was getting the same type of thoughts from the Geno. So they went to the vent, and basically Genos were in the vent, pretty much tracking down or trying to find the rest of the team. But Robin would have actually hacked the motion sensors, meaning that pretty much they would have been caught off guard, and they would have been pretty much delayed a little bit. But Wally and the rest of the team would have gone up the stairs. Superboy slamming down the stairs, keeping the Genos a little bit, keeping them away a little bit more. And basically, they would have gone away enough, and eventually they would have gone or ran into the Genos. They would have gotten knocked out, but the Genos actually wouldn't knock out Robin, because they saw something very powerful in Robin. Now, basically, Robin would have looked at all of them, and now basically we would have seen this, and basically they were about to let them go. Basically, out of nowhere, the scientist came out of nowhere with the Blockbuster project and pretty much sticked himself with it, pretty much becoming Blockbuster. Now, he started to straight up mollywop everybody in there. And basically, he started to punch all of them all around the room. And basically, the fight from that point on would go pretty much the same. Now, basically, Superboy would have saw Robin, and Robin would have been fighting himself. Would have fought, pretty much Blockbuster himself pretty good. Since, Robin was still highly trained, and also he was still, Robin. He still had years of training from Batman and all the other stuff. So basically, he would have been walking around, and basically Superboy and Blockbuster would have been duking it out, and all of them. And basically, eventually at the point where Robin got the idea to pretty much, break the pillars, since Robin saw, pretty much Superboy and Blockbuster fighting. Blockbuster was about to pretty much, attack them, and he would have actually ran after Robin before they left, because Robin stayed back for some reason. Basically, Robin being grabbed by the arm by Blockbuster, grabbing Blockbuster, and Blockbuster breaking or completely like straight up crumbling Robin's bones on his left arm. Now Robin would have, looked at this closer. I would have looked at this closer, and basically he would have been grabbed more and more. Pretty much his powers activating, and pretty much the part where Blockbuster was grabbing, pretty much Robin's arm was on the flesh part, so it was skin to skin contact. So Robin started to absorb every last power Blockbuster had without the whole entire looking thing, and basically got his strength, his durability, and also I guess his regeneration ability, and pretty much all the powers of Blockbuster. Now basically Robin would have ran out of the way, basically punching the last pillar, him realizing he has some sort of ability now. Now basically he would have ran off, and basically they would have gotten out there, seeing Blockbuster come out to the Rebel, and pretty much the Justice League showing up. Now Batman would have seen Robin basically being unscathed in his suit, not being scratched, not enough. Basically, them getting out there pretty quickly. Now, Justice League would have arrived, and they would have picked up Blockbuster, and basically Superboy would have explained himself to be Superman's clone, and all sorts of other stuff. Now, basically, Batman looked at Robin and the rest of the team. The rest of the team pretty much made an effort, and they were given, the cave or the Mount Justice to become their own operative team under the wing under the wing of the Justice League. Now, basically, they would have been in the ring, and also Megan would have been shown to basically, be on this team. Now, basically, Megan is also pretty much the main ship in all my what if my hero. I mean, my Young Justice what ifs. Now, basically, originally I was gonna just keep Megan as it is, but I'm actually going to be adding. I'm actually going to be adding an extra feature. Now, Robin would have become about an inch taller, but whatever. Now, basically, Megan would have tried to flirt with Superboy at first, changing her shirt, kind of like the same color palette as pretty much as basically have to do a time gap because my dog was, being a jerk. But whatever. So basically, after, pretty much the event, we actually get an extra clip of basically, after, Megan was introduced on the team. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing kind of like a poll in the comments so you guys can decide if Robin should just be shipped with somebody else later on in the series, or Robin should be shipped with Megan. Plus, Robin with his whole entire abilities and everything. But whatever. And basically, Robin would have been talking to Superboy later that, and Superboy would have actually asked Robin if he can give him any other abilities, like the fly. Basically, Superboy being fixated on that, since he couldn't fly, and also since he saw Robin take Blockbuster's abilities, and also take his abilities for a short amount of time. Now, basically, Robin would have said, I'm going to need somebody that has flight first, but I don't think I can give you any type of flight yet. Basically, Robin saying, I don't even know how these abilities work either way. Basically, Robin would have came up to Batman that night and actually would have asked him and would have told him about the abilities. Now, Batman would have seen that Robin needed the Young Justice more, because he needed more training and ability and pretty much practicality with his abilities now. And basically, Batman trained Robin for about a couple hours that night. Pretty much, Batman studying how Robin's powers worked and how Robin can take abilities or pretty much abilities from items for a short amount of time, and take abilities from pretty much organic beings or living objects for permanent, or can give them back, or give them to other pretty much creatures or people. And basically, Batman saw this as a very more or less a good thing, because what if somebody had some sort of regeneration ability and somebody was dying? Robin can grab that regeneration ability, give it to the person, and when that person's pretty much disease or whatever is cleared up and cured, Robin can take the ability back and give it back to the person before that had the power originally. Now, basically, Batman trained Robin with his ability and said that don't rely on the power Robin and all the other stuff. Now, basically, he tested Robin's strength, since Robin permanently his power set is permanently the powers of the Blockbuster. And Blockbuster is basically just superhuman, just increased strength and durability. And basically, after that, Robin would have, pretty much became pretty big. Now, basically, Robin, after that, we were seeing from the light talking, and basically them talking about the pretty much team or whatever, and also basically talking about Robin most of all. Basically, we get switched to episode 3. Now, basically, episode 3 goes the same near the beginning. Now, basically, episode 3 is complete change since Robin has abilities now, and Robin has found a new sense of too cocky to the point that it's going to get him killed like Jason Todd. And then, guys, sorry if it's a time lap or a time gap because I literally, I looked away from my phone and my phone blacked out and like some of my video was like clipped out or something. But basically, we get switched to episode 3 and we see Speedy fighting Tombstone or somebody like that. Basically, him taking him out nearly okay. And basically, the 3, Speedy, Aqualad, and Robin, trying to join him on the league or the team. Now, basically, we get skipped back to the cave, and basically we get skipped when pretty much Red Tornado tells them that there's no mission for them yet, and about how just socialize with each other and become better teammates, emotionally. And basically, that's what they would do. They would do kind of a tour around the around the pretty much cave, and basically they would actually stop, basically Speedy asking Robin about, the whole entire thing at the Cadmus, about his abilities and other stuff. And basically, they would have talked, and basically Robin would have said, I've trained with Batman a few times, and I know that I have pretty much him explaining his powers, and how he can take people's powers away permanently and give them to other people, or give pretty much powers to other people like that. Basically, Speedy saying that's pretty much Aqualad saying that's pretty useful. You could take powers away from villains if they did something wrong. Whereas pretty much villains that don't need their powers anymore. It could be a whole entire justice or some sort of court thing. Now, basically, pretty much Robin says that's pretty useful too. Basically, Robin's saying you can also make abilities from certain objects if they have some sort of, strong enough abilities to a point where they can become nearly the same amount of ability, or pretty much compound as an organic ability, kind of like, Superboy, and also other stuff. Now, basically, Megan would say that's so cool. Basically, kind of flirting with Robin as well. Now, basically, Robin would have said, yeah, I trained a little bit, but Batman said don't rely on my powers too much, or else, if I accidentally give my powers away, or I don't have powers to mimic all the other stuff. Now, basically, pretty much, Wally, at the point where Wally was eating the burnt cookies that Megan made, Robin basically told, pretty much Wally asked, Robin about how the whole entire thing with, his abilities. Basically, at the point where they were talking about his abilities, they would actually be in Megan's ship on the way to Happy Harbor, or before that, they would be talking on the ship. And basically, Superboy would have actually talked to pretty much having some sort of, pretty much thing with, not a thing, pretty much talking to Robin about how could he, give me flight or whatever. And basically, Robin says, first I'm going to have to find somebody that has flight that doesn't want it anymore, or somebody that doesn't want their powers anymore, and I'll probably give it to you. Basically, Robin says, I don't know how it's going to, affect Kryptonian abilities if I give Kryptonians abilities that they're not supposed to have, or extra abilities that they're not supposed to have, all that other stuff. Now basically, Wally asked Megan, can you do that phasing through, walls thing, Martian Manager can do. Now basically, they say, pretty much Megan says no. Basically, they talk about it, and basically, they get told by Red Tornado that it's a disturbance at Happy Harbor. Now they go to Happy Harbor, it's a chemical plant, and basically they get hit with a tornado. Megan's able to land relatively safe-ish, and basically gets them out of the way, and they get ready. Now basically, Robin jumps down in his black green shirt type of fit, but the green shirt is actually replaced with a yellow type of hoodie underneath his fit, basically the green being replaced with a yellow. And basically, the team would have gone out of Twister, and basically Twister would have been about 1 time stronger. So he would have been taking out the league of pretty much the team a lot more faster. Now Twister would have been attacking them, and by the point they were out of the building after they were thrown, punched, battered, and all the other stuff, basically Twirler was basically taking them all out permanently, or trying to at least. Now he knocked Wally out completely, just knocked the wind out of his windpipes, and knocked him out pretty long. And basically, the rest of the team started going after Twirler. That's Twister, I guess. Twister. They started taking him out more and more, trying to punch him, dish him out. And Superboy said, "Do something." Basically, Robin fighting Twister, kind of like Superboy is. But basically, Robin said, "I gotta be more, combat with this." Now, basically, he started fighting Twister with his fighting style, but using his super strength to incorporate it into the fighting style. Now, basically, Robin started to fight pretty much Twister more and more, and basically, they would have thought halfway through the fight that this was Red Tornado, but basically, pretty much, Wally would have gotten back up from his, kind of short, long, pretty much knockout, and basically, they would have told Wally that he's probably Red Tornado. Twister would have shown them that he's not Red Tornado, showing a move that Red Tornado can't do, and basically them trying to take out Twirler. Now, basically, Megan would use her ship to cover them and get them out the way from not being, scorched by electricity from Twister. And basically, they would have given harsh backlash to Megan. Now, basically, they would have left, and Megan would have been kind of distraught. Now, we would get switched to, basically, back at Happy Harvard, where basically Wally, pretty much Wally, Robin, and Superboy were basically fighting pretty much Twister. Now, basically, they started fighting them, and basically, Superboy told Robin to do it. Now, Robin would have been in the, pretty much shadows, basically him running straight towards Twister and grabbing Twister by the pretty much chest, mimicking his abilities for a couple minutes, about at tops 15 minutes. Now, basically, he was pushed off of Twister, and Twister started shooting more tornado type of blast towards Robin. Now, Robin started manipulating the air around him as well, basically mimicking his abilities as much as he can possibly, as the short amount of time he has. Basically, him pretty much becoming more and more, pretty much, trained with his newfound, on the fly, trying to figure out powers and abilities. Basically, Megan would have told them about the whole the thing about Red Tornado and the pretty much plan and all the other stuff, that basically they would have been fighting off with Twister, basically Robin using his abilities to fight off Twister using his wind manipulation and all the other stuff. And Red Tornado would have shown up and would have told them to stop fighting and let the Pro take it over. And basically, they would have gone to the fight, and basically, Red Tornado was actually a fake, and he was pretty much duped, and pretty much Megan was actually mimicking Red Tornado. And basically, they would have, been able to take out Twister or Twirler, basically, Basically, Robin using his wind manipulation to basically suck out or trying to pretty much destroy or pretty much Twister's body, using his wind manipulation to shoot his pretty much batarangs harder and more stronger towards Twister. And basically, the suit would have opened up, and it would be a smaller person or a person inside the suit. Now, Megan would have grabbed the bowler and would have completely just smushed, the person that was inside of it. Now, they would have been confused, and Robin would have told her that you crossed the line. You killed somebody. What are you doing? Are you dumb? Basically, him being completely angry towards her. But she's saying that it's not a person, basically ripping up the rock, saying that it's a robot, pretty much android body that was inside the android suit. And basically, Wally picked up one of the robotic eyes saying, "Cool souvenir." And basically, at that point, Megan and the rest of the team would have succeeded, and they would have taken out Twister. Basically, Twister actually recording the whole fight seeing that this new team is completely changed, is completely, new, and Robin, he didn't have powers, or we didn't think he did. Basically, the scientists saying he's very intriguing. We need to get his hands on him. But in the meantime, basically them talking kind of the same type of way, and basically them being more of an interest towards Robin, and Robin's the new big deal. Not really a new big deal. There's a couple people know about Robin's newfound ultimate power or whatever. Now basically, Robin was now basically the league doesn't know about Robin's powers just yet. Now basically, Robin would have told them that today was a pretty good. Now basically, Sarah Boy did apologize to Megan, and basically Megan was kind of happy by that. Now basically we get switched off, and that will be the end of episode 3. Now guys, if this episode was a little bit too long, sorry, but I'll make my videos mostly long so you guys have something to look forward to, or pretty much look on part by part if I have sort of like a essay or whatever, something like that. That's something something like that. That's starting my upload period. But anything from that, I'll be uploading on time. So this is my second what if this week. Where is it? This is my first what if this week, since it's yesterday was Monday. So yeah, so basically, guys, I'll be uploading 2 of the what ifs tomorrow. What if Predators were in the MCU, and what if Spider-Man was in Young Justice Part 3. And the other 2 what ifs I'm going to be uploading after those are going to be what if Robin had all for one, or had one for all, basically pretty much a reincarnation of Deku, and basically and also will be uploading a Deku what if Deku was, what if Deku was Mystique's son, or was the brother of Kurt Bogman, or something like that. Scratch it. I think I was gonna do what if Howard the Duck was in the MCU more, or played a bigger part in the MCU more than just being a side character, or pretty much a cameo or whatever. So basically, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And the person that requested this, give a thumbs up, click the notification bell, and I'm gonna give you a shout out real quick. So yeah, this is the person that pretty much gave me the request. So shout out to him. Don't know if he has a YouTube page. I didn't really check. Yeah, he doesn't have a YouTube page, but whatever. Basically, yeah. So goodbye. Hope you guys have a great day. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. See you guys later. Bye. Deuces.